he just has this bad habit of wanting to be out when we're awake. So if he's up, but I'm not like in the bedroom, he'll be like, "Hey, wait! If you're out and about, I want to be with you, Dad." He's a real Velcro dog. All right. Let me grab that link. do this shiz.
All right, I'm gonna hit record over here.
Hold up at that.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's just hold on. No, I'm not starting the music or anything. I'm just kind of getting the recording started. So what's up?
This is a monumentous occasion. We have to make sure we commemorate it with some kind of encouraging dialogue.
I don't know what you mean by that, but okay. What kind of encouraging dialogue are you talking about?
Let's see. You know I'm not good on the spot.
Hey! Duckster's here.
Declan! My dude! Yeah. And yes, of course, hashtag Team Connor all the way. You guys know how it is. And of course, hashtag Team Connor has got an upgrade. Check out this beautiful beard.
I know. I don't have to go pay the guy to update our graphic for your stinking beard. But anyway, so yeah.
I mean, seriously, look at this. It's full. It's curly. It's twisty.
There's a joke in there somewhere. For full and curly, there's a joke in there somewhere. That's what we should call the. That's what we should call the podcast. Full
Carrot Top. If you gained weight.
No, because his hair's all on top. Yours is not.
No, but
Carrot Bottom.
Oh no, there's a joke there.
Yeah, so
there is a joke there.
There you go. So.
Something about Irishmen and what they have under their kilts.
Well, if you ask, what's his name from This Always at Dragon Con, there is nothing under his kilt.
No, I know. Man, I love that guy. He is so extra.
He is so extra. I can't remember his name.
But he does it well. He does it well.
What is his name? It's the guy that was
who
played
plays
the bad
Merlin.
guy. He played Merlin on Arrow, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really a bad guy. He was like in antithesis. He was what is that word? He wasn't an enemy per se.
Yeah. There you go. Viking Connor skin. There you go.
Exactly. Fun fact. This helmet is actually signed by every cast member of Botched.
Yep, that's true. That is true.
So, and I still have it to this day, and you can still see the signatures.
Okay, and the that is the salmon vodka that they drank 1 year.
Oh, John Barrowman.
That's it. There you go. Thanks.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So so we're big Botch fans. So anyway, all right. Well, listen, I'm gonna get us started, okay? I can actually start
let's
the
do
music
this.
and do that whole thing. All right.
Let's dive back in. No, eyes closed. Don't know if it's a deep end or the shallow end, but let's just dive.
There is no preparation. You know there never is. So anyway, okay. Hold on one sec.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
We're back and you're dancing again. So I still love this music that we got. So is that your groom shirt from Dragon Con a few years ago?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hey everybody! Welcome to episode 89. 2 years later, it's like we were in. We passed episode 100, didn't we? No, we did not. We're episode 89.
I could have swore we did something about the 100th episode. I'm going back to Gore because that was the first one we watched.
That's what we talked about doing. We went back to Gora when we tried to relaunch the podcast. The first time we tried to relaunch the podcast.
Oh yeah.
So now we've had 2 years of life happen, and we're the
reboot of the reboot.
It's the rebooted reboot. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, so episode 89, I decided I'm not going to do the whole season 1, 2, all that kind of stuff because I can't keep track of that. So I'm just going to keep adding numbers. Yeah. So first of all, I want to thank everybody that popped in to say hey. So it has been a super long time. So thank you very much.
A bunch of them are all my peeps.
Yep. And so anyway, so listen, we're going to just kind of goof around today. We're trying to get back in the swing of things, shake the
That's our
dust off.
thing. We goof.
Well, I mean, we do have a movie to talk about, but
Yuck.
that's about all we got, right? So we're just going to kind of hang out, talk about some nerdy stuff. You had a
Yeah.
question the other day that I never answered. You should ask that question again, and we should try to answer that. I don't remember what it was.
Dad, do you not realize how many questions I ask my friends in a single day?
I think it was about movie that you would watch over and over the rest of your life, or something
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so
What
we can answer. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a minute. So,
yeah.
yeah. So we've been gone for a really, really long time, and there's just been a lot of life stuff that's happened, and we're not going to bother with that.
Oh yeah.
We're just going to jump in,
Nope.
and this is the geek safe space. We're not going to talk about that stuff or politics or hey, thanks so much, appreciate that. And just have a good time because it has been way too long since we've gotten a chance to do this.
Awesome.
And we're going to just kind of
new follower.
Have fun. So we got a movie we're going to talk about, which was
obviously that has always been our hook.
Great.
I actually liked it, honestly.
Well, you're probably one of the only ones, but anyway. So
Papa Napoli, huh?
Let's talk about any new nerd stuff for you.
Let's see. In terms of video games, I've gotten really into playing my Switch recently, and because of a very generous friend, I was able to get Hogwarts Legacy, which is a game that I've been wanting to play for a long time, because Harry Potter is not only a good inspiration of mine, but it was also the thing that got me into reading in the first place. When I was a kid, I hated reading. Ask my dad.
Yep.
They literally had to give me a tape recorder to make sure that I was reading.
Yeah.
But then once I picked up the Harry Potter books, I was off to the races. I was reading so much, I was getting caught reading in class, and it turned into a couple of points in a couple of parent-teacher conferences, didn't it, Dad?
Because you read instead of doing work, just like your senior year.
Just like my book.
Your senior year, you wrote your book instead of doing classwork. So anyway,
to be fair, fair, my book was a whole high school thing. I did most of my editing during my senior year.
So. It's fun, funny story. You talk about how, Harry Potter were the books that got you into reading, right? They got you to really love reading. Do you know that funny story, do you know I can still remember the book that got me into reading?
I'm going to take a wild shot, and it's The Hobbit.
No. This was before I even knew The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings existed. If you can imagine, if you can imagine, there was a time before I knew that those things existed. Right?
I can't imagine a time. I came out of mom and you were already exposing me to Gollum and Frodo.
Well, I'm glad you said I was exposing you to Gollum and Frodo, not just expose. I'm glad you added those to the end of that statement. But no, the book was called Wolf King, The Wolf King. And if you remember, I tried to desperately look for that book when we were trying to get you to read. And I said, maybe there's something magical about that book. It got me to love reading. And so and I just remember, I don't remember anything about the story. I just remember the cover of the book was a silhouette of a man on a horse with like a lance or something, but it was just a black silhouette with like a pinkish sunset background. That's the only thing I remember about the book, was just the name of the book and the cover. But I just distinctly remember that's when I went, hey, this reading thing, it's not so bad. And then 2 years later, I discovered The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all she wrote for that. So,
yep.
Yeah. So
literally, that's all she wrote.
Mm-hmm. So
let's see, and then so I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy. I had it earlier in the year, but because of some card snafus, for some reason my system had to refund the charge, and therefore I had the data and I had everything on my Switch, but it said I had to pay for the game. So it's like, how could I have the icon ready to play if I didn't already buy the game? So it's just been sitting in there for a bit. I'm not being able to play, but a friend of mine gave me a copy, the physical copy. Okay. So I was able to get back to playing it again.
Right.
And I love the storytelling in it. Cool. And then one other thing that I got into playing. some of my friends may know what I'm talking about. Blast from the Past from King Isles Entertainment,
Oh God.
Wizard
I
101.
can't believe you started playing that game again.
Duh.
You played that
It
when you're
has
like
gotten.
8, 9 years old, and you're playing that again.
I was playing that with Luke. That is one of the only games me and Luke ever played
I
together.
know, I know.
And it was so fun. And not only am I getting into Wizards 101, I am getting into Pirate 101, which is a sister game
Right?
of Wizard 101. And honestly, I like Pirates a bit better. Wizards has gotten all kinds of hype because I mean, it's Wizards, who doesn't like Wizards.
Right?
But I love the combat style and the game telling story of Pirate a bit better.
Right.
And guess what?
What?
I got Nick's in, I got Nick's into it too. We have characters dedicated to just us playing the game together side by side, like
Yeah.
every other night.
Right.
So that is an awesome bonding thing we're able to do together.
Sure. Sure. So for me, there hasn't been much going on nerd wise. I've actually, and Mitch can attest to this. I've actually kind of pulled back from. I just was getting into spending too much time and trying to just circle my wagons. So I get to play every now and then, but usually it's like 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there. And it's hard to do Destiny, just 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I was about to say. So it's not Destiny you've been
I mean,
playing.
I will if I can hop on and play a couple of rounds of something just to get a quick pinnacle to kind of boost my light level.
Yeah.
I'll do that if I've got a few minutes. But when I do get to play, it tends to be something short or something like single player. I've been trying Avowed lately. Haven't fully gotten into it yet, but
I've heard good things about Avowed.
I've heard good. I wasn't really, jazzed with it when I first started, but it's growing on me a little bit. But
Hey, Dad, real quick.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I just got a random memory going back to the book thing. There was this series of books that you got me into a little bit. They were like these very very obscure magic books. One of the I can't remember the titles, but one of them had a cover art of a
I can
manticore.
I can.
Or uh huh.
I
What are
know
those books
exactly the
again?
books you're talking about. The Xanth series from Piers
The
Anthony.
Xanth. That
Now,
is it.
now you get it. His name was Piers Anthony. If you run those things
Yeah.
together really fast, Piers Anthony. So
Yeah.
Xanth, the land of Xanth, is the end of his first name and the beginning of his last name. And
Nice.
if you look at the map of Xanth, it's Florida. It's a map of Florida because he lived in Florida, and it's like
Obviously.
instead of Lake Okeechobee, it was Lake Okeechobee, and things like that. And it was like middle school type magic and middle school
Yeah.
humor.
Yeah, but it worked.
But and his hook in those books was puns. Everything that was
Yeah.
a pun was literal in the books. But yeah, everybody was born with the magic power. And anyway, and I won't get into all the details, but he wrote, I think there were 23 or 24 books in that series. And
Really?
yeah, and they were like, 300-page books. I mean, at least
Oh yeah, not
two,
that
300.
big. You could
Yeah.
finish them in a day if
It's
you were
like-
committed.
It's like they were not as long as like one of the Lord of the Rings books, but they were longer than The Hobbit. And he wrote 23.
They were.
And it started.
Yeah.
Listen, the characters that it started with, it ended up following them through the generations, and by the end, I think they were into like the original characters' great grandchildren.
Jeez.
It went on. So it's kind of a cool thing, but yeah, it's
and
very much
and
a
wasn't
middle
it
school humor kind of thing.
wasn't there a book in that series at some point where like some dude got transported to that world and he was able to cast spells by singing lyrics of songs?
No, that's another story. That's another book altogether, and I can't remember the name
Oh,
of it.
okay.
I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, there was a guy.
You
who
got
was
me
like-
into that one too.
He was a guitarist, and he got transported into a magical world, and he was a bard basically. And whatever songs he sang created, magic. And of course, he loved classic rock, so it was all these old '70s rock songs that he was singing and creating magic spells with
His
these
big
things.
hook was Elvis, I think.
No,
If I
no.
remember correctly,
But anyway, so yeah, I just read all
wasn't
kinds of weird.
Clapton.
I read all kinds of weird stuff like that when I was younger. But anyway,
Fair.
so yeah, I do. I loved reading that stuff. Now I just don't read as much as I used to because I'm old and I've gotten in the habit of just sitting and watching TV. I talk to people all day, every day, and listen to people's stories all day, every day. When I get home, I kind of just want to shut the brain off and do nothing, you know. So, but
You
anyway, so
could you could always do you could always do something that I do, and when I want to turn off my game, I mean turn off my brain. I will do either meditation music or free audiobooks,
right.
and I'll play a totally zen sim kind of game, like a Story of Seasons, maybe Rune Factory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Something that's repetitive that I can just turn my brain off and do
Right.
on repeat as I then internalize this like relaxing music or story.
Right, right, gotcha. So, um, as far as any other kind of nerdy stuff, another nerdy thing that we've been started, and that's another reason why I've been kind of cutting back on getting sucked
Or,
into Destiny so much is because we knew we were going to start this, and that's going to take up some
uh-huh.
time. And
Yep.
on Saturdays for the last couple of months, we've been playing D&D together, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. My dad has finally joined one of my campaigns.
now, not because I'm just now getting into D&D. I just now have decided. I've just now gotten back into playing. Connor's the DM. So, but
This
yes,
man still has his original character sheet from when he was in like what, high school or college?
yep. Well, high school into college. Yeah. It's a level 30. What did I say? Level not 37. Level 31.
Yeah,
Um,
level 31 grave cleric, and you had like an army of vampires and liches.
yep. Is it Vampires and Liches? I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, the higher.
At least that's what you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was either Vampires and Liches or Vampires and.
And you named him Elrond.
Yeah, well, dude. I mean,
You weren't very
listen.
original, were you?
When we all started playing D&D, okay, there was Elron, there was Shadowfax, there was Strider. I mean, yeah, we all took names from that because that's what we were all into, and so. But anyway, so yeah, so
Mean,
now I'm playing.
meanwhile, I am able to come up with creative names right off the top of my head.
Well, I'm not
And
that creative.
oh,
Although I like mine. I says I like
oh
mine.
yeah, Dayton Shadecaller. That's a good
No, it's
name.
not Shade Caller.
Shade Hollow. That's
Shade
it.
Hollow.
Sorry.
That's right. So,
Sorry.
and he's
I got that confused with the item I gave you.
yeah. So I'm playing a monk. So that's my
The
old
class
monk
he's
ninja
always
guy.
been wanting to play.
I've always wanted to play a monk, and they with the new rules, they're pretty cool.
This man literally made a basically acid hand phase through one of the enemies and basically chest bursted him out the back.
Kind of did the alien chest burst in reverse.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm only level 4. Let's go, man. I'm ready. So eventually my monk can fly, given the
Yeah.
class. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting into that. So I've been enjoying that. Although the last couple of sessions we've had have been really, really, really role play heavy and not a lot of action, and sitting around for 3 hours.
Hey, roleplay is still fun to listen through.
Right, but 2 sessions at 3 to 4 hours each of just sitting and listening to everybody talk for someone like me, I just might as well just sit here and drink and and you call on me when it's my time to talk. So
That is one of the drawbacks of playing D&D online.
Yeah.
If you're at the table, you can kind of feel that energy with everybody as you're doing the role play with each person individually.
Yeah, and I agree.
If you're doing things through a screen, you hear the words, but unless you like fully act it out and put your heart and soul into each and every syllable, they could just be browsing on TikTok for all I know. But
not
but
to say what
I try my
did or
best.
not to say what I did or didn't do the other day.
But I try my best. I feel like I've been doing a decent job trying to make sure everybody has felt included.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had we had to introduce a new guy into the group, and
Oh yeah, Dr. Lustig. I love his character.
so anyway,
He's a cool guy.
That's been great, but that's Friday nights doing this now, and Saturday afternoons or Saturday evenings doing that. It's just taking a lot of my
Yeah.
weekends when
Yeah.
I have a wife I'd like to try to spend time with too.
No, of course, of course.
So anyway, so that's why I've kind of cut back on the other stuff. I'm still going to get into it, and she's gonna be going to Oklahoma for the summer to see her mom. So I'll probably have
Yep, of course.
lots of time to catch up on all the TV shows that I want to watch. And
Oh
speaking of
yeah,
which,
you and I should definitely plan another nerdy McKay Boys weekend together.
yeah, we'll talk about that this summer.
Definitely.
But so Daredevil Born Again is back. I haven't started watching it yet,
Does
so
he,
I don't know any spoilers yet. But for my friends, and they haven't given any spoilers yet, but like Mitch and Brandon, they're like, "Whoa." Apparently they released the first 2 episodes together.
yeah.
Apparently they get heavy and deep fast. So
Oh, have you been watching that new Spider-Man series that's on Disney?
no.
It's awesome.
Oh,
They
maybe.
perfectly modernized of the all the classic aspects of Spider-Man that you love.
Okay, maybe.
I almost said Tony Stark,
I know.
and I'm
Well,
like,
I mean,
no, wait, wrong.
Spider-Man's never been my favorite ever.
No, it's always been Daredevil, Moon Knight, Deadpool for a spell.
Speaking of Moon Knight, I can't get my fingers pointing the right
Yeah,
direction.
I can't really tell from back here. But yeah, I mean, they're so white balanced. It's hard to tell. Yeah,
Well, he is white, and that's the thing that makes
Moon Knight isn't white.
No, I mean his costume, doofus.
I know.
But anyway,
But
the thing that I'm really upset about is that apparently they've made it official that there is not going to be a season 2 of Moon Knight.
I mean,
that makes me angry.
that would make sense. It didn't really pan out well. It didn't grab audiences' attention that well.
See, obviously you don't have good taste because you didn't like Moon Knight and you like this movie we're going to talk about today. So I don't know. I got to question your judgment here.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
Who is the one that sent me down this path originally to create my own opinions? You wanted this. You wanted me to be the opposite, to be your antithesis.
No, I wanted you to have your own opinion. I didn't want you to disagree with me on everything.
But
I want you to have your own opinion.
I don't though.
I want you to have your own opinion as long as it's the same as mine. I mean,
so
right? Isn't that what everybody wants?
That's
Steve!
No. Yo, what's up, bro?
So,
good eye, Steve.
So anyway, yeah, it is what it is. You have your own opinion, but I'm not. I saw a ranking today of like all the Marvel TV shows, ranking from the worst to the best.
Yeah.
And they had Moon Knight ranked at like 13 or 12 or 13 out of 15. But they had Falcon and Winter Soldier at like 6 or 7. And I'm like, "No, you need to flip those two. You needed to flip those two."
Now, see, as someone who's watched both of them, I don't know. They both were not good. They both were not good.
Moon Knight was. I thought Moon Knight was
Moon Knight was too convoluted. I could barely follow it, honestly.
Look.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, it got too political, and it became more about the modern day political climate instead of the actual story of these characters. Although I do like how they kind of tied in everybody and their stories into the new Captain America movie. I did enjoy that.
Yeah, well, look, Oscar Isaac, I mean, he made Moon Knight. He just played that character so well. And of course, being a psychologist and dealing with somebody that's got multiple personality, it was intriguing to me. And I just love that character. I love his powers. I love his backstory. And so,
what powers does he have?
Well, I mean,
he's
kind of like He's kind of like Marvel's version of Batman in a way. He's got his martial his fighting ability, and he's got his stuff. And he's a little crazy, kind of like Batman. So,
Batman's not crazy. He's if anything, he's to the extreme emotionless, and that's what makes him scary.
No, if you want to be accurate, Batman's most likely got PTSD. Just saying.
I mean, half of DC has PTSD, Dad. Even Aquaman has PTSD.
So anyway,
even Calendar Man has PTSD.
I'm hoping that
Captain Condiment has PTSD.
Hopefully they'll get Moon Knight in the MCU movies at least somehow. I heard a rumor today that maybe in the Doomsday series that he's going to be involved in that somehow. I hope, because that's just a waste of a character to not do that. So, yeah, Secret Wars definitely came in last place in that whatever that ranking was that I saw.
What's Secret Wars? I've never even watched.
There you
that
go.
one.
That's how bad it was. You didn't even know it was a series. It was a one season thing on Disney. Secret Wars. It was not good.
Disney needs to stop doing that. Just make a movie and that's it. Just one and done. Just get it over with. You don't have to make all these series about this stuff. I mean, I get that you want to get more content, but there has to be more revenue possibilities in getting the movie done and then putting it in theaters than making it in a series you can put on Disney. Because if it's on Disney, it's just watchable to the people who have the subscription. If you make a movie of it, you're getting revenue from people actually going into theaters and going to go see it. You know.
Yeah, no. Well, they're hoping that these shows would drive subscriptions to Disney Plus, but some of them were good enough. But I don't think any of them were good enough to do that. But some of them were. Really
Loki
bad.
was good enough.
Loki was
good enough.
You know, I would.
It's the only one to have gotten a second season. Only one to have gotten a second season. Well, name me another Marvel based of that live action shows that got a second season.
Well, it depends on if you include the Netflix Marvel series, which they did in this ranking. No, they did include them in that ranking. You know, Daredevil. And Jessica Jones
talking about the ones that was produced by Disney, not by Netflix.
I'm trying to remember myself. I'm not sure that there was, but anyway.
No, I'm telling you, out of all of them, Loki was the only one to have gotten a second season.
Mm-hmm. And I get that.
WandaVision didn't get one.
Yeah. Well, you know, WandaVision kind of played right into, you know, that kind of led into kind of almost like the backstory for Multiverse. I mean, Doctor Strange's. Was it Multiverse of Madness? That one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
what these originally were. That's what these were originally supposed to be. Stuff to lead into and reveal stuff for the bigger budget movies. Because if you remember, WandaVision came out, and then after it finished, a few months later, they fully revealed and posted out Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. So,
but the reason why they haven't done anything with Loki is because I believe Tom Hiddleston is fully done with the MCU, and they wanted to give his character the legacy he cemented in the MCU.
Yeah, maybe
they wanted to give that character a final send off. Because if did you watch season 2 of Loki?
Of course I did. And I know how it ended up at the end.
Though the ending he gave them, the ending they gave that character was perfect in my opinion.
So, but
it was perfect. He got what he deserved.
With the multiverse, there's no telling what's coming. I mean, good grief, you know, basically Stark is coming back as Doctor Doom. So anyway,
also that's another thing. Okay, so who is going to be the big bad of this series? Of this arc, because at first we thought it was going to be Kang. I haven't heard anything about Kang in the last 4 movies.
Kang got canceled. The big bad of the writers. I would agree with that, Phil.
I mean, like, and then they're starting to tie in all this stuff with the Watcher into the MCU now. So it's like, are the Watchers going to be the next big bad? Um,
I don't know. I
um,
don't know.
Gore the God Killer, right? That
He
person from
was.
Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
He could have been such an amazing big bad because you can consider all these MCU characters
Mm-hmm.
to be gods in their own way because they literally killed
Oh, I
gods.
know. I know.
So it could have been this whole thing.
And I mean, it's and and the MCU hasn't really started out good this year with the new Captain America movie that just came out. That was
I did like the way I did like the way they animated Red Hulk. The way they made him look, very well done in my opinion.
great. I'm glad that Red Hulk looks good. The story was terrible. The
Oh no.
plot was horrible. And it
Oh no.
was it,
Story was
so
trash.
so
Story was so trashy raccoons are currently
I'm
digging around in it.
I'm holding out hope for Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four this summer.
I
I'm holding
honestly
out hope
forgot
for those.
Thunderbolts was a thing.
It
Okay,
looks
that's
fun.
another thing. Okay,
Okay,
people. Let's
what?
talk Fantastic Four. How many reboots does a set of characters need before you just say, okay, we've beat this dead horse enough. Nobody likes these characters. Least known team in the MCU. Let's just leave them be and focus on other people.
Okay, so how many times do they need to try to reboot the Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
As many times as it takes for them to actually get it right, because people love the Fantastic Four. I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
don't.
Okay,
I've always
you're
found
not
them to be extremely
everybody.
annoying.
You're not everybody.
If anything, they need to tie in the X-Men to the actual MCU.
Guess what? You just proved my
Because
point.
that is a whole untapped market, a whole untapped lore system.
I get that, but you just proved my point. Everybody, everybody deserves to have their own opinion as long as it matches yours. See? You just proved my point from a while ago. Thank you. So
We are just having a friendly debate. I don't know what you're talking
just
about.
playing with you, buddy.
But
So,
still, I mean, just the Fantastic Four have gotten like 3 total run throughs.
Yeah,
The first one with Chris Evans, that is now memed so heavily they literally referenced it in the Deadpool movie with Chris Evans coming back as what is even his name? I forget.
flame on, Johnny.
I know.
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I love the way they actually tied in Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Of course, because you
even
love
even though
Gambit. So yeah.
I know. Well, I also love Channing Tatum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
I forgot to turn my Darth Vader on. So
Why do you need to turn on your Darth Vader?
just because they have the nice glowing red eyes back here.
And you want to have that breathing in the background?
No, it doesn't breathe. It just does it that one time and then it stops. And then it's just the lights are on.
Okay.
So, but anyway, no, I liked the first Fantastic Four was kind of okay, and then when they rebooted it a few years ago, it was horrible.
The first movie of the first Fantastic Four with the Chris Evans stuff, that movie was good. The way they ran it all, that was good in my opinion. They didn't need the Silver Surfer though. They didn't need that second movie though, because that movie is what killed the franchise. That if they had let it wait a couple years, let these other movies come out, they could have tied in the MCU a whole lot earlier.
Well, listen, I'll be honest with you. If it was up to me, I would love for them to focus on the X-Men. I like the X-Men. They're my favorites. Just a lot of the characters from there, how they get their powers. I don't know. I just like that, and I thought the way that they did those characters, I thought they did a really good job with them. So anyway, but they were with Fox, and getting them into the MCU that's a little bit difficult.
Deadpool was with Fox. And they got him into the MCU.
And so they're working on it. So there's they're starting to put in there with like the enhanced humans, right? Which is kind of leading into the X-Men, the mutants kind of stuff. So they're getting there, but how it's like, okay, we did all this work for 10 years with this kind of set of characters, and then all of a sudden we've got these other ones. How are we going to kind of fit those all in together? So anyway, all right, I tell you what, let's do our question and then let's do the movie. We've just been chatting for a long time, so.
Yeah. All right, so
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
You know I have sound effects. Go.
And you know I got to do it.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's see if I still got it.
Oh my goodness, here we go. Oh, please,
Oh.
come on, dude. Nobody wants to listen to. Nobody wants to listen to that. Ask the question. Ask the question.
Oh man. So, what is a movie that you could rewatch for all eternity and still have the same emotional response that you had when you first watched it?
I mean, I have an
I'm
answer.
not talking about your favorite. I'm not talking about your favorite movie or just the movie that you can watch forever. No, the movie that you can watch and have the exact same emotional response no matter how many times you've watched it.
Okay, I have several actually, but go ahead. Do you have some?
Let's see. One is Pokemon the first movie.
Okay.
Dad has never seen it because he is not a Pokemon fan.
No, no,
But
no. I mean, I'll
the
play. I play the little
scene.
catching game, but I don't
No,
watch the
you
stuff.
you play Pokemon Go. Don't you dare. Don't.
I have, but
Would
I
you?
hadn't, I hadn't played it in a year. I don't think. So I hadn't played it since last Dragon Con. But anyway, so
Anyway,
okay.
let's see. That scene when Ash is essentially a statue, and then all these Pokemon cry, and this big musical swell, and their energy brings him back. I will always cry to that, no matter what version I'm watching.
Yeah.
No matter how many times I see it.
Mm.
Um, and then another one is Dances with Wolves. It's that final scene with wind in his hair, and then as they're riding off, he just holds his spear up in the snowy mountains, and he
Do you see
says,
that I am your
"Don't you see
friend?
I am your friend?"
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That will
that's one of
always
them.
make me
That's
cry.
one of them. That's one
That
of
will
them.
always make me cry
Yeah.
because especially in the extended especially in the extended edition, when you see this whole friendship over years just build up,
Mm-hmm.
and how, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then finally, it would have to be Sweeney Todd, Demon Barber of Fleet Street with
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter.
Okay.
um the
Interesting
musical
choice.
score,
Yeah.
the redemption, and just the way the way they cinematograph, the way they filmed it all,
Mm-hmm.
it puts me on the edge of my seat every time, because even though I've seen it a bunch of times, and I know Alan Rickman is just going to get, is just, I love watching it because I can see the redemption in Johnny Depp's eyes as he plays out that scene. It is beautiful.
Yeah. Well, as I have the easy button answer for me is the Lord of the Rings. But
Okay, but which one? Because
really,
that's three movies.
yeah, I
That's
know
three
it's
movies.
hard to pick the. I will probably have to say Return of the King. Okay. Um, and now and granted, I have to admit that part of my emotional reaction to those movies is because of my emotional connection to those books since I was been a kid,
Yeah.
right? But at the end when the hobbits bow to Aragorn when he's crowned as king, and he
Yeah.
says, "You bow to no one," and everybody bows to the four hobbits, and they're just standing there humbly, standing there, after everything that they've gone through and all the misadventures and all the things that the way that those four characters grew
Yeah.
across that movie, and to see everybody say, "You're the reason why we're here. The four of you are the reason why we're here." That gets me every time. Um,
If you ask me, I feel like Merry and Pippin had more character growth than Sam and Frodo,
oh,
honestly.
absolutely, absolutely, because they had the furthest to go to grow.
But still.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Oh, I still get choked up and fired up at that scene when Aragorn before that big fight.
Yeah,
Aragorn turns
the final fight,
turns
right?
to them, and then he just whispers, "For Frodo, and
Yeah.
and then he just runs in,
Right.
and then Merry and Pippin are like, okay, let's do this, and then they just scream and battle run, but
Yeah.
right behind them, they're the
Yeah.
first ones in because they are ready in this.
Right.
Oh, and then that scene with that princess girl, I forget her name, and she's fighting the Witch King
Mm-hmm.
thing,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Yep.
and that whole scene of him saying, "No man can kill me. I'm not a man."
And she says, "I am no man." That's Eowyn.
Yeah.
But so I would
So
say
like,
some.
it's
Go
that's
ahead.
always made me wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Does he mean literally that no like biological man could kill him? It had to be a woman,
No, I think he's trying
or
to say no man in like the generic humanity sense. No
okay,
mortal man. I think that's what he's trying to say.
all right.
Other movies, I mean, I know these sound like easy choices. I've been trying to rack my brain to see if there's some other ones, but Gladiator is another one. The
I don't
contrast.
think I've ever seen Gladiator.
Well, that's just a travesty, isn't it? But
Who was my main movie exposure source, Dad?
that does.
And you never showed it to me.
No, you never watched. You chose not to. So the contrast from when he finds his wife and his son killed, the contrast in his
And oh,
emotions.
yeah.
The,
That scene with the field, with
yeah,
him walking through the
yeah,
field and everything.
yeah. Contrast between when he sees their bodies after they've been killed, his emotion there
Yeah.
versus his emotion when he finally dies and he gets to go to Elysium and he sees his wife and son there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Another one, I mean, Braveheart, just because
Oh, I was about to say Braveheart.
that
That final scene.
he basically freed Scotland out of revenge because of his wife.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. But another one that I just thought about that kind of tied in, it made me think about with Gladiator and seeing his wife, and you just see the image of his wife's feet hanging.
Yeah.
And you've never seen this movie, so I don't want to ruin it. So I'm not going to tell you
Dad,
why
you know I
it's so
love
emotional.
spoilers.
No, I'm not going to do
You
it.
know I love
But
spoilers.
Jojo Rabbit. Whoa. There's a scene in that movie that it's such a funny movie. When oh god,
Is that like a sequel to Is that
No,
like a sequel
no,
to
no,
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
no. Taika Waititi plays an imaginary Hitler, a little boy's imaginary friend Hitler. I'm not kidding, but
Ah,
it's a kind of a funny movie. But there's a scene in there that it just hits you and it just punches you in the gut. You're not expecting it, and you're just like, oh snap! And it's just amazing. So those will get me every time. I'm sure there are others, but those are the
oh,
ones that get me every
out of,
single time.
out of curiosity, where does Fiddler on the Roof fall on your list of that stuff?
Um, not really. I think I'm hearing me through your computer or something. But anyway,
Here, I'll mute my computer then.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Or oh wait, that actually that I don't know how you can hear myself through your computer if all my audio is coming through my headset and my mic.
Maybe your headset's so loud it's playing into your mic. I don't know. Anyway,
Maybe.
so the point is with Fiddler on the Roof. Yes, we love that movie, but I haven't seen it as many times as like Mom has. And so while it's a very powerful movie, it's not one that's going to make me have the emotional reactions like these other ones do.
I think I know a movie. I think I know a movie that will always make us laugh no matter how many times we watch it. You and me, we will always bust a gut.
What's that?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, agreed. But it's gotten to the point with Monty Python, with that movie, for me, a lot of times it's gotten to the point where I'm just quoting lines along with the movie, right? As opposed to it having the same kind of reaction. I have some other movies that I have the same kind of excited, and I just love watching those movies' reactions, but it's not an emotional reaction. But those are probably the ones that get me every time.
There is one movie that has confused me to this day, no matter how many times I've watched it.
Okay.
I have watched it at least 15 times in my life.
Jeez Louise.
I still cannot even tell you exactly how the story unfolds and what all is going on.
Yeah.
And that's Time Bandits.
I don't know that
I
you're supposed to
cannot
completely understand that one.
You're supposed to at least understand. You're supposed to at least understand how they're able to time travel.
Have
I'm
you
not able to understand how they do time travel.
have you ever? I don't know what happened there, but have you ever understood any Terry Gilliam movie? They're all kind of weird.
Who the frack is Terran Gillian or Terry
Terry
Gilliam?
Gilliam, he's one of the cast member, one of the original cast of Monty Python, and he did a movie called Brazil, which was really bizarre. Well, he's done a lot of movies that are just kind of really out there, man. But anyway, so so those are the answers. Those are my answers to that question. I think that's pretty good. So, how about we do our movie? You want to do that?
I mean, if you want, I can just talk on and on and on and on and on and on
I
and on
know,
anyway.
but at some point we have to end. We can't have a 5-hour podcast. Sorry.
Why not?
This-
we can
this
just
is-
go
this isn't
on.
like a-
we
this
we
isn't-
just let the we can just let the camera roll, man.
This isn't like
just let the cameras roll and the dice rolls and see if you land a crit.
Sorry,
know?
this is not a Civil War historical documentary podcast. We're not going to go for 5 hours. Oh, now I know that you guys can. I know, Steve, I know y'all can. But at least you divide it in half. You take a break and you divide it into 2 different episodes. But anyway, okay.
They have an intermission.
Oh, they have because when they do their live stream, they'll do 2 episodes in one live stream, and so they'll take a break in the middle and separate it. So, but anyway, okay, here, let's do this.
Why don't we do that?
I don't know. Maybe we should. Maybe we can look at doing that somehow. All right. So the movie we're talking about today
Wait.
Okay.
It is time for the latest installment of Roll for Credits. You forgot to say that bit.
I completely forgot all that because it's been 2 years. Dang it.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, so we're talking about this a sci-fi movie from 2017 called The Beyond. I don't really nobody's in this movie that you know unless you know really obscure
no
people.
one.
It was written and directed by some guy named Hazrat Dula or Dulol.
It
or
is
something like
total. It is a total indie movie. You know, you have never heard of any of these people. You have no idea about what. You have no idea. You have never heard of these companies. It's totally obscure.
You know,
That's why it's on Tubi.
One time we did an episode of the podcast with Travis from TV's Travis from Wait You Haven't Seen, because he watched a movie with us, and he said, I knew it wasn't going to be that great of a movie when there was like 5 production company credits at the beginning of the movie. It was like the more production
obviously
credits you have at the beginning,
obviously.
And so there's about 4 or 5 on this one as well. So that kind of got me ready to go, including the writer and director's nickname is Haz, which is like short for his first name, Haz. And then the visual effects company is Haz VFX. So he wrote it, he directed it, and all the graphics were done by his company. So it's pretty much a one-man job doing this thing. It stars Jane Perry as Gillian LaRue, Nigel Barber as Alex Grant, and Nolene Comiskey as
I don't know any of these names.
as Jessica Johnson. I wrote Jessica Jones, but I think it's Jessica Johnson. Anyway, it's a sci-fi movie, and it's done in a documentary style, which I will admit I thought was an ingenious way for someone to take a very low-budget film where they don't have much money and accomplish a lot of, push the story forward through that documentary format, because they didn't have the production values to have all these fancy scenes and scene cuts and this kind of thing. So I thought that was a good way to do it.
They did that with The Office, didn't they?
Well, yeah, that's kind of a mockumentary kind of thing, but right, they did that, but that was kind of just a stylistic choice. This, I think, was a monetary choice. But they did the same thing with like Blair Witch Project, where it's like that shaking camera, just kind of that kind of
I love found footage style horrors.
And
I love found footage horror movies.
It's just a good way to cover for when you ain't got a bunch of money, right? So so it starts out that way, and the movie starts out that like they're going to be doing a documentary or like a day in the life of all the leadership of the space agency, which looks like it was kind of like the European Space Agency, I guess. And then stuff happens.
European SpaceX, basically.
And then stuff happens. Basically, what happens is a guy gets lost on the International Space Station because he's out doing a spacewalk, and some kind of anomaly shows up over the Earth, and he gets disconnected from the ISS and just disappears.
Yep.
And so then they start trying to, figure out what this thing is. They start calling it the Void. Then these big black balls start showing up all over the Earth, just kind of hovering over. And then the whole movie, yeah, right, okay. The point of the movie, the whole plot line of the movie
Sup,
was
Shaq?
them trying to, golly, I can't do anything with you. I can't do anything with you. Basically,
Would it be better if I said Terry Crews?
no. The point of the movie is them trying to find a way to investigate this void, what they discover about the void, how they go about it, and then how that all plays out. So, I mean, you and I tend to fall into the trap of just kind of basically rattling off the entire plot scene by scene, and I don't want to do that anymore. So, but that's basically the premise of the movie, and it's goes through the scientists that are involved in trying to do the investigations, the leadership of the space agency, and the decisions they're trying to make, and then some people that actually go into this void to investigate it, and the stuff that happens from that. So that's kind of the general idea of the movie. So I guess let's just do 30,000 foot view. What were your thoughts? What did you think about this movie, and why?
So I thought the premise was decent. Not a lot of movies go to this kind of viewpoint. Normally when there's a void or a wormhole or whatever, or they go immediate militaristic. Let's go over, conquer, put boots on the ground, claim it for Earth, kind of stuff. Here, they took an actual realistic viewpoint of like wanting to investigate it, wanting to make sure that it is safe. It's less of what we've come to see as cliche to the modern day space kind of movie. So
Yeah.
so so I liked that change of pace. That was a very welcome change of pace, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. I
Um,
really did. I did. I liked the concept. I thought the movie started out with promise. I'm like, this is a really neat idea, and it's a really neat way they're going about doing it.
yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of action. It was just like they're doing a documentary with scientists, and so it's much more a lot of talking, and it's much slower, and it's not a lot of action going on. But so it had a decent premise, but man, did the wheels fall off about halfway through, in my opinion. So, and we can talk about all the reasons why it fell off, but so you said you liked it though. What is it that you liked about it? I mean, generally speaking, why did you like it?
I enjoyed I enjoyed the mockumentary storytelling. I've always had a soft spot for that kind of storytelling. Ever since The Office.
Yeah.
It's also why I love found footage horror movies so much too.
Right, but it really wasn't mockumentary. Mockumentary is like, this is Spinal Tap and The Office, where they're trying to do it like a serious documentary, but it's hilarious. Right, it's just they're kind of making fun of that. This was really trying to be doing it like
Best in Show.
This was kind of like trying to do like a real documentary style, like
No,
you would with
I was mentioning another mockumentary, Best in Show.
Oh
remember?
yeah, that's one of the best, man. That is one of the best. Love that show.
Man. Why is he walking like that? He's got two left feet.
So
anyway,
so again, tell me what it is you liked about this movie. What played off well in this movie? Because I didn't see it.
So for me, I always love archetype subversion. How many space aged alien discovery movies can you name where things actually ended peacefully without any kind of actual bloodshed or anything, or war between the humans and the alien race? How many can you name that actually things were just fully copacetic?
Yeah, I know. And in case anybody wants to watch the movie, don't ruin the plot. But yeah, so basically, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to watch this movie. Look, it's a situation where it kind of played on our normal human responses to be defensive and assume aggression, assume harmful intent by things we don't understand. And so we were kind of the undercurrent of this whole movie is kind of preparing for how are we going to defend ourselves when that's not what actually was going on, which, we can talk about.
I know. But still, how many movies can you name that had this type of storyline where the humans and the aliens actually did become symbiotic without some kind of actual war going on and stuff like that happening.
Yeah, but it
not
wasn't
a lot.
Now there
And
wasn't.
and
There,
I love that they saw the opportunity. I saw that they saw the opportunity that they could have taken and made these big black spheres to be these like unknown weapons, but instead they kept them mysterious until the very end, seeing their true functions.
yeah.
Seeing that, it was just a very welcome change of pace to the space age kind of movie that we've known today.
Yeah, I mean most of the times, if there's an alien that shows up on planet Earth that's going to have evil intent, and it turns out that wasn't the case here. But that's therein lies some of the problems with the plot that were just super bad.
Another thing that I liked is the obvious casting changes. That happened mid movie. I mean, so
right?
that one guy, the paralyzed guy, who was going to be one of the next human 2.0s. Oh, speaking of which, no one in their right mind has ever said 2.0. It's always been 2.0.
Well,
We know the O means 0, but
now,
2.0 just doesn't hit the ear right.
I know, but this was a British film, I think, because most people in the movie were from England. So that may be, I don't know, that may be how they say it there. They may say 2.0, and over here in America we say 2.0. I don't know, but
still, it doesn't hit the ear right.
So what happened?
That's the thing.
What happened with what was the casting change that you're talking about? Because I don't think it's the casting change I'm talking about.
Well, the paralyzed guy, his character died in the movie because his brain couldn't handle the transference into the human 2.0 body.
Right, but that wasn't really because of a casting change. I'm talking about something. There was another one.
I'm talking about most likely this guy wanted to leave the movie because he knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. He wanted to cut himself from the project after he had already filmed some stuff. So they're like, okay, let's just kill off this character.
No, Connor, the whole plot of the movie was to get the cosmologist to be one of the team. And so that's the only way she was able to do it was because he didn't make it. So they needed a replacement. That was part of the plot.
They wanted the cosmologist.
Yes.
They wanted a cosmologist and a soldier. They sent another soldier up there. Why not give the good story to the guy who was paralyzed and had cancer?
Connor, pay attention to the plot. They didn't even offer her. They didn't even ask her to be one of the two team members until that guy died. They weren't trying to get her to do it. They had all those other candidates that they were doing, and he just happened to be one of them. When he died, they said, "Oh, we got to come up with a replacement." And if you remember, the reason why. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. Okay, go back. The reason why that he died was that this human 2.0, they realized that humans could not go through this void because it turns out this void when they sent probes in,
it's basically a black hole.
A wormhole, not a black hole. It was a
wormhole and black hole are
not the same thing, at all.
No, it's just like that classic thing. All wormholes are black holes, but not all black holes are wormholes.
No, they're physics. They're two different things. Okay, they're not.
And are you a physicist?
I'm not, but I know that they're not the same thing. Anyway, moving on. So it was a wormhole, and there was a planet on the other side. They were able to see that.
I'm getting to him.
Because you're just being stupid. But that's another issue. it's gloves coming off, buddy. So, so humans couldn't go through.
Stupid
this
is as
wormhole.
stupid does.
Well, that's true. So humans couldn't go through this thing, so they had to come up with another way. And here's some of the plot stuff. All of a sudden, the DOD comes up, the U.S. DOD comes up with, hey, we've got this secret project called Human 2.0 where we're going to transplant brains into a cybertronic body, or basically a robot body. So it'll be controlled by a human brain, but it'll be physically, it'll be a robot. And so they try to do that, and this guy's brain rejects it. So they find really quickly that there's a specific enzyme that they need that allows the brain to be accepted by the machinery. And she happened to be one of the few people that was eligible to be on the program, to be one of these people that had that enzyme. That's why she got picked. It wasn't because he just didn't want to be part of the movie anymore. That was part of the plot. No, the casting thing I was talking about is when she gets turned in, her brain gets taken out of her body
into the thing,
and she goes
her
in.
voice box suddenly changes.
And then when they fix the voice, they got a completely different actress to do her voice. Why didn't they just modulate her voice differently? I'm like, why did you pay a second person to do the voice? That made no sense. Anyway, so
couldn't have been the COVID thing. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 years before COVID, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but here, yes, but herein lies that's where the wheels started to fall off for me, was at the Human 2.0 thing, because that took up a huge part of the middle part of the movie, is finding your two, because they only had 2 robot bodies that were eligible to be used. They'd only had 2 prototypes, and that was it. So,
yeah.
So, one nitpick is, if you're going to write and direct your own movie, get your own plot timelines right.
Yeah.
I mean, the timeline was so screwed up all over the place. It starts at the beginning of the movie, then it says 12 months earlier, and then all this stuff happens. It says, okay, so we've got to launch these people. We've got to launch these Human 2.0s, and we've got to launch them within the week. So they did a global search for candidates, interviewed them, assessed them, picked the ones that they wanted, and did surgery on the first one within a week. Then he died. Then they had to come up with their backup solution, which was the enzymes, to find people that had the right kind of enzymes. Had to find those people that had the enzyme. Had to train them, because most of them were scientists. They weren't astronauts. Had to train them and go through that whole process. When the surgery was successful, then the bodies had to completely rehabilitate, learn how to walk, because it was just a brain and a robot. Yet they said they had to launch within a week. So all that happened.
No, I think
in a week.
I think from what I heard was the anomaly is only viable for 2 months. That's what I remember hearing.
I watched the movie twice to see if I was getting the timelines wrong. And they just bounced back and forth. They said, we got this timeline, but then they tried to squeeze so much in that timeline, it was unrealistic. And so the timing of everything that they said that they were accomplishing in that week didn't add up. And so that annoyed me a little bit. And then when they decided that the cosmologist, who had already said, yeah, this is not something I could do, the second she said that, you knew she was going to end up doing it. It's just the way movies work. And the woman that played the cosmologist, who was Jessica Johnson's character, she was the most professional, compassionate, kind person in that movie. Didn't you think so? Didn't you think she was very well spoken and very thought, right? And
didn't the guy describe her as being abrasive or something?
Yes, that's what I'm getting at. So in this movie, she was a scientist, she was well spoken, she was compassionate, she had the emotional intelligence as well as the intelligence. She was just this great character. But the director, who I think his role was just to be the contrarian, just to be the one that was suspicious and say that none of this stuff's going to work or any of that kind of stuff. When they decided to pick her, he described her as volatile and a ticking time bomb. And I'm like, there hasn't been a single scene that has shown her as anything other than Mother Goose or Mother Teresa. Where did that come from? So it's like, okay, they just threw that line in there so he could continue to be that guy. And it made no sense with the plot. It didn't fit with anything in the plot, right? And then here's another one. So they talked about that cosmic storm that's coming, right? That as they were studying studying the void, they started getting these readings that there was some kind of cosmic storm that was coming.
Cosmic wave or whatever.
There was gonna be like this huge cosmic wave, solar storm kind of thing. And then all of a sudden it started happening, right?
Yep.
But if you looked at the graphics of showing that wave coming in,
yeah,
it hit the moons of Saturn before it got to Earth. But weren't they talking about it was like a solar flare type cosmic wave?
Yeah.
If it's originating at the sun, how in the you-know-what does it hit Saturn before it hits the Earth? How can that work? It's a wave starting at the sun. How can it hit Saturn before it hits the Earth? No matter where they are in the, I even thought about, well, maybe somewhere in their revolutions around the sun, maybe it has them lined up. But I'm sitting going, no, because it's a circle that goes outward. So no matter what, it's going to hit the closest planet first, the second closest planet second, the third closest planet, that would be Earth, third, and so on. How in the world did it hit Saturn first? So that,
I don't know.
So that just kind of made my eye twitch when they try to do science fiction stuff and they try to base it on like sciencey type stuff, and it just doesn't. It makes my eye twitch. So that set me off.
Yeah, I get that.
So overall, look, I liked the premise of the movie. I think if they had a little bit higher budget, even with a low budget, I thought that they could have done it well, like they were doing with the documentary.
And I think if they had gotten some like actual like cosmologists or astrophysicists to just be like on staff to like fact check things and bring a bit more realisticness,
having some consultants would have helped. And frankly, the writing.
Yeah.
Somebody to clean up the plot holes and the all the contradictions in the plot would have made it an interesting story. You don't have to have a huge budget to have a great movie. You know,
exactly.
one of the movies that we watched a few episodes ago, we were just talking about the other day, that movie Coherence. You know, there was kind of that dinner party of like eight four couples and like kind of the multiverse kind of stuff going on. I think they filmed that. I think they filmed that movie. I think I read somewhere $20,000. $20,000 they spent for that movie, and it was a great movie.
Decent.
You don't have to have a multi-million-dollar budget to have a great movie, but you do have to have good writing, and you do have to have a consistent plot, and that's where this one fell apart for me. Was just that, man, it's one of those classic things of great idea, poor execution, and I should have known because I was trying to do some research on this guy that wrote it and directed it. And he started out as a VFX guy, just a visual effects guy. And then he started doing started doing movies. And so he did this movie. And another movie he did was a movie called, I think it's called 2036 Extinction or something like that. Stars Katie Sackhoff. And I'm like, I saw it one time on
Elevation. Do you mean Elevation?
No. It's okay. Called 2036 something. I'll have to look it up. Let me look it up. But and it had Katie Sackhoff in it. I like Katie Sackhoff, and I'm like, it's a sci-fi movie. I'll watch it. It was so bad I didn't even finish the movie, and I couldn't tell you the first thing about it. And that's the only other movie he's ever done. 2036 Origin Unknown. So I think the guy needs to stick to visual effects. I think that the visual effects in this one for 2017 and a low budget weren't bad. I didn't think they were bad. But
I agree.
But yeah, so anyway, to kind of finish out the plot, so this cosmic storm hit, right? And guess
what?
All those black
Those
balls,
big black balls.
those big black balls, they spread.
They burst.
They spread,
burst.
and they covered the earth. They covered the earth and protected the earth from all the cosmic waves and all the debris of planets that had exploded or whatever. So basically the aliens had prepared all this to save our planet, which was kind
Can
of
we
cool.
even call them aliens?
I don't know.
They're basically floating symbiotes.
But, and here was another science
Amorphous black slime that floats in the air.
And here was another science thing. I didn't write it down. Here's another science thing that set me off. So in this movie, after that happened, there was still like debris and cosmic dust and all this kind of stuff that happened from this thing, and it all started coalescing. And so basically, our solar system changed, and a new planet was created right next to us that they started calling Earth 2.0 that was capable of sustaining life, and they were started to use these human 2.0 people to kind of colonize it and get it ready to go. And I'm like, okay, if the moon moved just a few miles closer to Earth, it would completely throw our planet out of whack. Gravitational forces, waves, everything. Okay, but all of a sudden, we have a planet that's almost the exact same size as Earth, basically hanging out right next to Earth and the moon.
I mean,
and it does nothing to our gravitation.
Pinky and the Brain did it.
It does
Pinky
nothing.
and the Brain did it.
It's a cartoon, dude. So it does nothing.
And this is a low budget indie movie. What's the difference?
Okay. So all right, I'll tell you. All right, going back to I'm pulling out one here. Going back to oh god. Oh, what's that? Oh my gosh, the movie with Will Wheaton and River Phoenix. It was based on the book the story by Stephen King called The Body. Stand by Me. Okay.
Okay.
When Duchamp is asking them when they're sitting on the fire, or when the other one of them is asking, who would win in a fight, Superman or Mighty Mouse? And they say, Superman, of course. Well, why? I think Mighty Mouse. No, Mighty Mouse is a cartoon. Superman's a real guy. so that's what that kind of the whole anyway. So
I'm just saying
the fact that they put two Earth-sized planets, Earth and another one just like it, right next to each other in the same kind of orbit with the moon.
Oh, your camera's doing something.
I know it's doing some kind of weird autofocus thing, so it kind of zoomed in a little bit, didn't it? So.
Anyway. Oh yeah, it was it like followed you for a bit too.
Okay.
I think your attic's possessed.
No, it's my camera has got some, so I can use my hands and make my camera move a little bit, and I was using my hands too much, so it made my camera zoom in or something. So yeah, so
use the force.
Let's kind of see now. Why is it doing it? I had turned that all off. Now look at it. Okay, see, it's doing this weird stuff. So I got to back up here.
Back
so
it up, back it up.
That set me off too.
Back it up, back it up.
So anyway, let me pull up something here that I've got to.
It's still doing it.
I don't know why it's doing that. I gotta turn that off. I thought I had that turned off.
And I'm watching it on stream. It's really funny.
Oh, I bet it's driving people crazy. So I apologize about that. So I'm trying to pull something up here.
I'm hungry.
Okay. All right.
I wonder how my mic would taste.
How about we? Oh God, would that camera stop doing that? Turn my mic off. There's some kind of hand motion. There's some kind of hand motions that turns that movement on and off, but I don't have my manual in front of me to figure out.
It would not be a Gene Pool Variety Hour podcast stream if there wasn't a lot of scuff, right?
That's weird. You get up there, let's kind of just stay. Let's kind of stay right here and not move.
Stay, camera.
I gotta get that turned off. So
if you stay, hey, I'll look at your nice lens wipe as a treat.
All right.
Up, good, good.
I'm gonna roll some dice for our next movie, okay? And then we're gonna get out of here.
All right, let's do it.
I think we're talked out. Our timer ran out a long time ago.
I mean, you're talked out. I could talk for hours on end.
I know that. All right, let me see. All right.
You've experienced it firsthand.
All right. So I rolled a 5.
Your camera is still moving, by the way.
Stop it. Anyway, so my camera, I gotta fix. I'll fix that next time though, so nobody will have a headache. But anyway, I rolled a 5, which is Amazon. So we're gonna watch a movie on Amazon.
Cool.
Then I rolled a 2, so it's gonna be It looks like it's gonna be another science fiction movie. All right.
Okay, I can handle that.
All right.
I can handle it.
And then
I can handle it.
And then it looks like I rolled a 73. All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go look at the science fiction movies on Amazon and find the 73rd movie in there, and yeah, and then we're gonna do that.
What we
So
got.
I'm gonna give us a little elevator music and go look for that. 1 sec.
That was fast.
All right. So looks like we're gonna watch a movie called Triple X. Not that kind of Triple X. Triple X.
I was about to say
State of the Union, which I think Triple X, and I started to watch Triple X a long time ago, and it's a Vin Diesel movie. And I think this is this is obviously a sequel to it. It looks like it stars Samuel Jackson and Ice Cube.
Really?
And Willem Dafoe.
Green Goblin?
Yeah. So apparently we're going to watch, and Peter Strauss. So apparently we're going to watch a movie called Triple X State of the Union. That's what we're watching next time.
Okay.
So that's what
Sounds
we're going to
good.
do. All right.
It's still moving, Dad.
I know. I'm going to fix it when I want to get I got my little manual right here, and I'm going to figure out how to turn it off. I know. So, but look, I mean, probably most people are gone already. So,
well, let's see.
And then,
yeah, we got 2 viewers.
Yeah,
I'm one of them.
Yeah, and I was one of the other ones. So, anyway, so moving on. So, we're going to go. All right. So, we're going to watch Triple X State of the Union next time and find more nerdy stuff to talk about and go from there. So,
yeah.
Guys, I so appreciate everybody that stopped in for the chat tonight. Thanks for welcoming us back. Thanks for helping us get back in the swing of things.
Thank you all for loving us.
It made things much easier than just me and Connor staring at each other for an hour. So,
okay. So what? So what? You don't think I'm handsome?
I didn't say that. I just said it gives us something to do other than staring at each other for an hour.
Okay, but you're making it sound like it's a chore.
Did I say it was a bad thing?
You made this face. Blame you.
Did I say it was a bad thing? I just said I didn't. Anyway, moving on. So
that's a joke.
Thanks
Dad.
everybody. Thanks everybody that showed up. Thanks for listening. If you just downloaded the podcast to listen to later, we're just father and son nerds that like to hang out and talk about stuff. So we appreciate you guys joining us to listen to nerd stuff. So, guys, we will see y'all next time. And always remember,
stay nerdy, my friends. I remember.
You're still here? It's over.
My glasses fell off. Found them.